Hey everybody, it is a Pentecost Sunday, and Penta is 50, right? Pentecost is 50 days after Jesus was resurrected, okay, for Jesus' followers. And here's what happened on Pentecost, Acts chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. On the day of Pentecost, all the believers were meeting together in one place. Suddenly there was a sound from heaven like the roaring of a mighty windstorm, and it filled the house where they were sitting. Then what looked like flames or tongues of fire appeared and settled on each of them. And everyone present was filled with the Holy Spirit and began speaking in other languages as the Holy Spirit gave them this ability. Again, Acts chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. And what catches my attention right away, what caught my attention this week as I read through this was this mighty windstorm. There's this power of the Holy Spirit that can be unpredictable, that can catch you from behind. It's unexpected. That's a hurricane, tornado that blows through our life and calls forth transformation, right? That pushes us, even pushes me out of my comfort zone. It says we're supposed to go in verse 1:8 of Acts, we're supposed to be witnesses to all the world. Right? It seems like in Galatians, it talks about the fruit of the Holy Spirit, right? Like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, transformational force out in the world, right? And the thing was that this was being blown through, this mighty windstorm of the Spirit was being blown through Galileans at the time, right? Galileans. And back then, in that day, well, people in Jerusalem and who were looking on, it was kind of unexpected that God can work through situations and people you would least expect, because the Galileans were hicks, man. They were like backwoods folks, according to the people in Jerusalem, the last people that God would work through. Right? We would think that God should be, moving through the temple and the priests, the elite. Today we'd say, he should be hitting through Harvard, right? Or the seminaries. But no, he was working through tax collectors. And again, fishermen, people like you and me. And lately, for me, where I've been hit by this powerful wind, because it does seem that it's our choice with this wind, it can push us out of our zone, of our comfort zone, if we let it, if we're obedient to it. And here's some names that have just really hit me, lately. George Floyd from Minneapolis, up in Minneapolis. Breonna Taylor down in Louisville, Kentucky. Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. Something ain't right. Just something is not right. And it seems in the power of the Holy Spirit, of this love, joy, peace, patience, etc., that Jesus people, that we are called to go and make it right somehow. In Micah 6:8, I guess it says we're supposed to act justly, love kindness, and walk humbly with God. And so maybe that's Dan's simple definition of justice. It ain't right. Something just ain't right. It's not right. But I feel like I need to make it right somehow. I don't have all the answers. I'm not an expert, but this powerful wind has been blowing and something is happening, right? And so I was looking through my news feed, right? And there was a letter or an article written by Candace Howes, right? And it was titled this: "I'm an angry black woman. This is what I want white people to know." And I thought, I think I need to read that, because these names that have kind of just been imprinted on me here, they were people made in the image of God. People made in the image of God. Precious. People deserve dignity and respect and a life well lived, and it was cut short. It ain't right. Something's not right. And so I read this article, and here was some advice that she gave, because this is the walking humbly with God part. I don't know, but I want to. She says, so if you're a white person looking at a black person, like how do I join the fight? See, and for me, this in the power of the Holy Spirit, this fight, man, there is evil out there, right? Present in a lot of different ways. Spiritual warfare, a serious fight, right? I want you to know that joining the fight is just the beginning. There will be conflict, but it's worth it. Conflict. Again, I believe in that spiritual warfare. And when you go out in love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and faithfulness and gentleness and self-control, guess what? You don't get a lot of love back necessarily. Going out and transforming and being transformed and trying to pass that along can be very sacrificial, following the example of Jesus and selfless giving, sacrificial love. And in that Acts chapter 2, also there were people that were watching on and they said, what does this mean? Right? When the mighty windstorm was blowing through, they said, what does this mean? I guess that's where I am, is what does this mean? But there were others who said, man, you must be hitting the bottle, right? It's 9 a.m, you must be drunk. And I think that when we get called, or if you get called, there are going to be even people around you that say, what's the big deal, right? Or even you're crazy, or whatever it is. And then I think about Paul in Galatians, in that letter, in the Galatians in chapter 1, where he says, well, I am seeking the approval of God and not of human beings. Oh my. When you think about that, that does take kind of courage, being pushed out like this. And she says, it's in the long haul, right? You will need to take the mantle in spaces in which we have little influence. You need to make this your priority. I guess that's part of the Holy Spirit too, is certain things get pushed up here that need to be. It's your turn to be angry. I guess that is kind of what I've been feeling. When I see some of these things, I get angry. Some people I know have been telling me they get sad. It's your turn to be dissatisfied. And when things ain't right, I think I do need to be dissatisfied. You need to hate racism and inequality. You have to take the time, okay, here's the walking humbly with God part. I need to understand exactly what those things are and how you play a part. And walk humbly because somehow, and I have played a part in this. I have to take a look. I have to reflect on this. I have to think deeply about this. You need to pull up, read the books, and check your people when opportunity arises. I need to get somehow educated on this, right? And she goes on to say this, if you want this to stop happening and you're white, this is your fight too. This requires your courage and conviction. And I think about in the book of Acts, those Jesus followers, and they were huddled together and they were praying and fearing. They were pushed out though. What kind of courage and what kind of guts that took to go to the ends of the earth, ends of the world. She says, this is your demon to kill. And I begin thinking about that spiritual warfare component. And she says, what you do in times of crisis reflects your truth. And I think I just spent a few minutes here talking about our truth as Jesus followers and what that means, our truth in the selfless, sacrificial love of Jesus Christ, and going out into the world, out of our zone, out of our comfort zone in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, and what that might mean for each one of us. I do not know how this has been speaking to you lately. Maybe it hasn't, right? But maybe the power of the Holy Spirit has caught your attention like it has mine. God bless you on this Pentecost Sunday. I do pray for that transformational power of the Holy Spirit for you and for all of us. Love you.